Boom, Thundercloud here. And I'm just going through some donated books here at the Australian Poetry Library and Archive. And I've come across this cracker. It was a winner of the 1994 Bronze Swagman Bush Verse Award. It's called The Gwyder Ball, and it's by Sherry Clarke. It's about a fella with his emu. Old Jock had umped his bluey over many dusty track, across the mountain ranges to the back of Burke and back. He pulled his belt in notch by notch when work was hard to find, dined on snake or bunny stew, and made no never mind. He stopped at last in an old bark hut beside the river Gwyder, tamed himself an emu, and from strangers tried to hide her. He taught that bird the three-step and the pride of Erin too, and several other dances that most emus never do. He called his new friend Effie, said her eyes were limpid lakes, and fed her scones and damper and rocky raisin cakes. Each evening as the sun went down, he played his old mouth organ and step around the clearing like the dancers of Clan Morgan. While from the blue gums clustered on the edges of the stream, that emu came a-prancing and a high-stepping like a queen. Jock would bow and doff his hat, play polkas for a while, till the bird got kind of dizzy, and her staggers made him smile. The barn dance and the Irish reel were followed by the lances, and Effie added fancy bits to all these old-time dances. Then he'd changed the mood and slowly waltzed around the dusty yard. The emu followed faithfully, but found the three-step hard. As time went by, the creatures from the bush all came to watch. The platypus, koala, none had ever yet seen such. There were kangaroos, rosellas, and the harshly croaking crow. Even the goanna came, careful, creeping slow. Old Jock kept right on playing, and his feet were light as air as he danced a tarantella with his emu maiden fair. Together they would dance all night until the dawn was breaking. As they stepped, they never dreamed that legends they were making. The kookaburras in the trees were laughing fit to bust as Jock and Effie Charlestoned in the swirling, blowing dust. Then came the day the parson's wife, the whirly Gladys Strider, decided there should be a ball for all the folks of Gwyder. She organised and improvised and got the whole town humming, till everyone from round around had promised they'd be coming. And on the night, the orchestra of Jew's harp, drums, fiddle had practiced to perfection. A kazoo played in the middle. The ladies sewed and primped and preened till everyone was glowing. The grumbling men were brushed and crushed in Sunday suits, ties flowing. The tables groaned beneath the weight of lamingtons, pavlovas, and everyone was dancing, farmers, shearers, even drovers. Then the music stopped and silence fell as Jock came through the door and led his Effie gallantly across the sawdust floor. He stamped a boot and called out loud for a country-sounding song, and one by one the instruments began playing along. Then Jock and Effie danced a storm for hours, never flagging, and Gladys threw a royal fit, the parson loudly nagging. She stopped the music, screeching that an emu couldn't stay, that balls were just for people, it had always been that way. There was much to do as some agreed, while others weren't so certain, and while the argument went on, Effie ate the curtain. The parson tried to calm his wife, who hit Jock with the fiddle. And then there was a free-for-all with Effie in the middle. She made a good accounting with a beacon, strong feet kicking, showed no one any favours, men and women took a licking. The parson's wife, exhausted, sat and hoped the stage would hide her. She nearly had hysterics when sweet Effie sat beside her. Then Jock was caught, immobilised by a laughing crowd of men, hurled into the dust outside, and Effie joined him then. So, singing loudly as they went, he led her home all tattered, returning to their quiet hut, a trifle bruised and battered. But now old Jock has gone the way that all old bushmen go. One evening when the emu came, his steps were kind of slow, and his tunes grew ever sadder as the moon slid overhead when the sun rose in the sky. It was to find Jock dead. But still the black man tell the tale of an emu by the stream who comes there every evening to dance as in a dream. And the creatures gather sadly by the old abandoned hut where once an old man danced until his weary eyes were shut. They sit and watch that emu as she struts and dips and turns, dances in the ashes where no more a campfire burns. There is magic in that clearing when the moonlight softly glows and the breezes hum a melody. The emu clearly knows as she high steps in a two-step or valletta, slow and sleek, and remembers when an old man taught her dance steps quite unique. There's an echo from the tree trunks, like an organ sweetly played. Kookaburras chuckle softly, sitting quiet in the shade, and the emu dances sadly, all alone as shadows fall, and her emu heart remembers that she danced once at a ball. When she whirled among the gentry beside the mighty Gwyder, with wattle blossoms on her head, a gentleman beside her. Sherry Clarke, Forestfield, Western Australia. The Bronze Swagman Award for Bush Verse 1994 winner, Gwyder Ball. If you like that, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to follow and subscribe. Boom.